In this lesson, I want to take a few steps back and show you some additional things that we can do with our view instance. So one of them is we can have these what's called a computed value. So this is computed, so just like we've been adding in data, methods, templates, props, so on, we add in another object here called computed. And what this does is this allows us to return back maybe some kind of computed value or something like that. So let's take a look at these values that we have here, and maybe I'm going to add in something else here and have actually an input here. So we're going to create an input, and we're going to bind that input, so v model, and maybe I'll call it output. And then add that in over here, so out, and just leave it blank for now. So we're going to have this output here, and I'm going to put this other h1 here, and what I'm going to have is I'm going to have this return of the computed value, so C output. And I'm going to call this computed, this first object in here, C output. And it's going to be a function that's going to be returning, so we're not passing any arguments yet, and we're going to return back. So we have access to the information here within our scope here, so I can utilize that output value, and maybe I can add in a space there and then return back this mess or something like that. So let's see how this turns out. So we've got the output there, we've got an input for the output, and a whole bunch of new things here. So we're not looking at all of this stuff yet, and see what's going on there. So we're getting an error there when evaluating the expression. This mess is not defined. So let's take a look and see what's going wrong here. Of course, I have to add in this, and I had to add in this for mess. So now let's take a look at this and see that we're getting that computed value. So it's actually making a calculation and returning back, instead of just binding to that one value. Now our value can be dynamic, and we see as it's coming out there, we're getting a brand new computed value. So it's treating it as it would any other value. So we've got our output value here in the data, we've got the mess here in the data, but we've got a brand new one that's called C output. And we don't see that here in the data output because this is, of course, is a computed value, and we've got this kind of purplish surrounded output here where it says computed, because this is just indicating that this is a computed output. And just like we've added in this computed within this value, we can also add that in here as well and add it into our template and utilize it as a computed output within our template as well. So we can do that if we wanted to as well, and make that computed into the global tasks component.